Aries. Welcome to your March soul session. I am Princess India if you are new, and if you are family, welcome back, my friend, and whatnot, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you're not familiar with what my soul sessions are, they are your spirituality as well as personal development readings in which we look at the energies for said month, and shameless plug, and we use our woke books to track every soul session of the month. Just throwing that out there. But anywho, we're doing that to give you some insights and guidance into energies or situations you may find yourself in this month, my friend. So, Aries, back in the day, if you've been with me for some time, you would know this. I used to give intuitive messages at the very beginning of my readings, right? But that made my readings obsessively long. So I set the intention that whenever I'm starting a reading for a sign, I'm more or less just wanting to pick up on what's absolutely necessary, because y'all know your girl is long-winded. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to have you here all day. But when I sat down just now, okay, and the Ace of Cups and the reverse fell out. When I sat down just now, and I always tune in to see what flavor of card we need, and you guys are still on the same deck that I used for Pisces, so I was like, cool. But the first impression I got for you all was more or less a question, and it's what's stopping you or what's blocking you? Because I got an impression of the spread that I do in I think I might have did it on the channel once, but I do it in private readings, and it's a spread I specifically use when a person is blocked and they have no idea what it is that's blocking them. So I felt the need to say that. So that's just a little side note based on when I got intuitively for you. But if that comes up in the reading, cool. If not, I just think that's a good question to reflect on for the month of March. What is stopping you or what is blocking you? Taking into account, I'm going to put this back in the deck if it comes back out, cool. We have the Ace of Cups in the reverse. So that's, of course, speaking to a sense of emotional disappointment. It's that may be an outlier, we'll see. But it's really speaking to something that you intended, and I'm so sorry I'm shuffling in y'all's ear, but it's more or less something that you intended to pan out a certain way, and it didn't pan out the way that you hoped. So it's speaking more or less to emotional disappointment. And if I were to tune in a little bit deeper, what we're really saying is something, I don't want to necessarily say that you thought would be the end all be all, but something that you thought or perceived to be like, and I'm hearing it like this, like the ice cold cup of water, if you will, to a thirst that you had. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like being in the desert and coming upon like a mirage. You know what I'm saying? So, but realizing it's like thinking that you're coming into a river when you're like thirsty in a desert, and then getting closer and realizing it was just, a mirage. That's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting from that. And I just saw a whole nother deck. This is getting interesting. Loving 2021. At the bottom of you guys' deck, we have the Justice card. Now, this is interesting because what it would seem like to me from everything I've said, from your intuitive message to that card falling out to this now being at the bottom of your deck. And with this spread, we have a central energy, a challenge, past influence, future possibilities, your above energy, which is your conscious mind, and your below energy, which is subconscious influences. So stuff that's kind of outside of the arena of what you're seeing. And then the underlying energy or undergirding energy is what the Justice card is. And more or less what that's saying is, with every choice that you make this month, Aries, because every choice comes with a consequence, whether for good or for bad. Just make sure that the choices that you're making, right, and the consequences that may come with them, whether for good or for bad, are worth what it is that you sacrificed or worth what it is that you have put into it in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So if you're going to put yourself into a position where there's a level of discomfort that you're in, or something that you have to give up, or if there's a burden that you have to carry, you know what I mean? Make sure that whatever that is worth it for you. You know what I mean? That the reward, right, long term, or the return on what you invest, or the reward for the temporary punishment, proverbially speaking, that you guys may take on this month, make sure that it's worth it, you know? And I mean worth it like for you, meaning not falling into like any type of martyrdom because you feel that's what you're supposed to do, or just this misconception of, you know, I'm doing something that's uncomfortable, painful to me, something that's crossing a boundary for me, but that's the right thing to do. So despite my better judgment, I'm going to do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So just be cognizant of that, because that kind of wraps back to me with what I was picking up for you guys intuitively. If we were to put what I've said from this Ace of Cups in the reverse to this Justice card, and put that into the framework or the reference of this particular block or this thing that's stopping you, this would be the thing that's stopping you. It's the fact that a lot of times you're making decisions or choices to do things or sacrificing things that leave you feeling kind of jilted, because that's what you're supposed to do, if that makes sense. But anywho, your central energy for the month, whew, we have the Four of Cups in the reverse. Come on with it. And that's challenged by the Ace of Swords. So there's a need for a mental breakthrough. What this would be saying to me more or less, Aries, and let me turn over you guys' past influence. Okay, we have the Hermit card. That's Virgo energy, and then Libra energy with Justice, Virgo with the Hermit. So more or less what this would be saying to me, Aries, is coming out of February into March, it's more or less like a solitary space that you guys have been in. So a huge deep dive self-reflection period, trying to figure out who you are, where you are, what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get clear, kind of trying to proverbially detox from experiences. Because I don't want to necessarily say that, because this is me inferring, because this is going back to like January, December type of stuff. I don't want to necessarily say chaos, but it's being on uneven ground. It's a lot of not knowing. And I think in your not knowingness, it was reaching out to other people to try to get your stability back, like meaning in the sense of like advice or guidance or whatever. But because you still weren't sure where you stood, it's like all the other voices and opinions have kind of like taken you like off course to where it was just like chaos in your brain. So it was more or less needing to take a step back to get clear, because going without wasn't doing it. So it's like, okay, well, I need to go within and just kind of distance myself from people in a sense. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of that is rooted in this sense of stagnation with this Four of Cups in the reverse that you guys may have been feeling for some time. And those of you who are in on my network that are in couture, we talked about that in the Soul Mastery group last week, if I'm not mistaken. And I think I made a joke. I think it was. I don't know if Alex made the joke and I'm taking credit for Alex's joke. I feel like I said it because it's funny. But Alex, I'm sorry. If that was your joke, my bad. Okay. But somebody, one of us, we said something funny about like the energy with last week of being like a Four of Cups, like kind of energy, you know what I mean? And how it's like this stagnation where you've left from the past, or you've graduated or ascended or transformed enough to know not to handle stuff the way that you used to handle it. So you have a mental understanding of what you should or should not do for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So if you used to fight people when you got mad, you didn't evolve to a point where, okay, let's not throw down, right? But the future, like ahead of you, even though you know it's coming, it's not clear enough to really know what to go in the direction of. So it's like you're in this, almost like catatonic state or something like that. And I think what it was, my member I'm talking about, the word that Alex used. Alex, look at that, you getting all kinds of shout outs, and I don't even know if you got Aries in your chart to even see this, but anyway. But the word that was used was apathy. And it's true, because it's literally being in this stasis and this discomfort where I can't go backwards and I can't go forwards. And I feel like that's the place that Aries is in the month of March, right? At least in the beginning part of it. And you want to fight it. And the analogy that I gave in the Soul Mastery group as we were talking about this was the awareness that we have in situations such as this, when we're uncomfortable, when we don't have a foundation, when we don't have a ground, like all of that gives us a sense of control, right? When we know, where we've been, I know where I'm at and I know where I'm going, I feel some sense of control in this chaotic world that we're existing in. So it gives me some sense of like safety, right? But when you find yourself in situations such as this, and many of us find ourselves in situations such as this, you feel very ungrounded. And like I was saying with you guys, you're reaching out to other people because it's like, just let me hear something. You're on YouTube listening to stuff. Like, I just need a word. Somebody say something that resonates with me, right? To try to get a sense of it. But the thing that I was telling my group was that we never stop to think that maybe the discomfort is the point. You know what I mean? When we're uncomfortable and we feel ungrounded, the first thought is to run to get grounded. But maybe what it is that you're looking for is found in that ungrounded state. Because with your challenge being the Ace of Swords, that speaks to a mental breakthrough. So that means that you guys being in this state, with it being in the reverse, is saying y'all done been here for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But I feel that the issue is here, and I love how everything we talked about in the group is coming up. But I said, as counterproductive as it would seem, it's almost the equivalent of being in a situation where every single house you've ever lived in, this is proverbially, of course, every single house you've ever lived in your life has burned down, right? Like, no matter where you move, you're in the house for a week, the house like catches on fire, right? And what people do at first is you're going to call the fire department, right? You're going to try to throw water on the fire. You know what I'm saying? You're going to try to save yourself and, run out of the house or whatever, right? You're going to move because you're thinking maybe that house is the problem. But when it becomes a pattern, and this happens so much, it's like you have two choices, which is what this justice card would be speaking to. Now you're at a crossroads and you have to make a decision within yourself about your circumstance, right? Because this has repeatedly happened. And the choice that you're posed with is either you resign to say, this is my fate. I am destined to be a person where all of my houses are just going to continuously just burn down for the rest of my life. And there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. And I just need to accept it and accept that this is my life, right? Or you're a person who refuses to accept it. You know what I'm saying? And you just think, okay, it's just a different situation or scenario. It's just another house. Let me just try to be in another house. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to keep calling the fire department and I'm going to keep running out of the house or whatever, right? But the thought that no one ever thinks is that maybe it was never about escaping the burning house, and this is all proverbial, people. Maybe it was about you going back in there and burning down with it. And that's something that no one ever thinks because of survival instinct, self-preservation. You know what I'm saying? So just like I'm saying with this Four of Cups in the reverse, it's being in this, limbo, and it's trying to find ground. Maybe the point was to be in limbo, because what it is that you're looking for, hence, if any of you are familiar with the Four of Cups and like the Rider Waite, it's, you know, the disembodied hand with a cup. You know what I'm saying? So in that state of nothingness or limbo or apathy or what have you, is the blessing or the gift or the mental breakthrough that you need. So I say all of that to say, Aries, and I love how you guys reading is so wordy, but I say all of that to say that you are in the right space. I feel that a lot of the methods that you've used to solve your problems up until this point, they're not working. Going within, nope. Going without, nope. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that the deliverance you guys are seeking is finding a level of comfort in this space. And there you're going to find the solution you were looking for. I rounded out that story with my group of saying it's indicative of like the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's like the first phoenix has to die and burn, you know what I'm saying, in order for, you know, the new reinvented one to resurrect from the ashes. So that's why I use that analogy. So I feel it's the same place Aries is this month. Now, you guys above energy, which is your conscious mind, is the Four of Swords, right? And then with your underlying energy, we have the Empress and the reverse. Now, the Empress and the reverse is speaking to a lack mentality. So that's like being proverbially barren, if you will, things not manifesting fruitfully. But with this being in your subconscious or your underlying energy, it's speaking to the place from which one is manifesting, right? So if we look at that Ace of Cups that came out, if we look at this Justice card and we're thinking about logically, consciously, you know, full embodied mind, making choices and decisions in life, it's understanding that the motivating factor, or, you know, the sponsoring thought, the thought behind the thought that's motivating decisions that you're making is lack mentality. So just like I was saying with justice, if it's coming from a place of, you know, this isn't comfortable to me, but that's what I'm supposed to do, that would be a form of self-betrayal, because now this external authority becomes more important than your own. So even though your inner self is saying, this is uncomfortable, I don't like this, it's the thought of needing to live up to that standard of what, you know, someone outside of you expects from you, if that's making sense, you know? So this is more or less kind of getting reacquainted with yourself. Now, with this Four of Swords, this to me is more or less a lower vibration, not like low vibration, but I mean like major arcana, minor arcana, lower vibration. It's like an extension of this Hermit card. Consciously, you're aware. I don't know why my throat is drying up. That don't make no sense. My apologies, Aries. My throat literally just dried up. But anywho, but I look at this as an extension of each other, because it's you still being consciously aware that you need to take a step back. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you guys aren't really fighting the motion of trying to move forward. It's kind of being in a place of you having a sense of understanding of you need to kind of still take a step back, you know? But I feel in the midst of that, what is positive to you guys to know, and hopefully I would hope that you being on the receiving end of this is inspiring to you, is that you're not in the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a method to this madness, you know what I'm saying? And don't fight it. It's to allow it. And what it is that you guys are desiring is going to come to you, because this mental breakthrough is what's going to allow you to see what it is that I'm seeing in your cards. You know what I'm saying? Of not trying to overexert, not doing too much and not doing too little, and quitting and giving up, but finding that happy median between the two, because this is more or less speaking to spirit giving you guys an opportunity, or through your circumstance showing you how to heal where this Empress and the reverse energy is coming from, like where that barrenness or this self-doubt or this lack of fruitfulness or this belief that's been long held or is buried deep that you can't have things, or that, you know, stuff never works out. It's like those thoughts that are kind of matriculating underneath it all. this breakthrough that you guys are in the midst of is to snuff this out so that you can proverbially turn it upright. I hope that that makes sense. Now, moving forward, you guys have the Nine of Swords in the reverse. So that would say to me wholeheartedly, the anxiousness that any Aries person is feeling out there in TV land, any anxiousness that you guys are feeling, any, insomnia, unrest, mental anguish, if you will, it's a symptom of a deeper problem, the deeper problem being the lack mentality, being what leads one to people please and overcompensate, or, just give up, quit and say F it and undercompensate, you know what I'm saying? But it still all comes back to giving you your power back in the form of the choices that you're making. It's if you have sacrificed what felt right to you, or what you're truly desiring for people outside of you, and that's never quite working out the way that you desire, you know what I mean? If a root of a lot of this anxiety is your involvement with other people or other people's involvement in your life, you know what I'm saying? The issue isn't really so much of cutting everybody off and being a loner, you know what I'm saying? It's finding how to enact those healthy boundaries and existing in that middle road. It's you knowing when to say no. It's knowing when to say yes, but not saying always yes and not saying always no. So we're really talking about you guys coming to a place of stasis and balance. So moving forward, what the Nine of Swords in the reverse is saying to me is that you guys are going to have this mental breakthrough, and I feel it's going to release you from that proverbial prison, if you will. So it makes sense to me, and why it is, it's like what's stopping you and what's blocking you. I feel that question is going to be answered for you all this month in a very epic way. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, I'm going over to my network and I'm gonna have stuff around. I mean, if you're watching this on the network, I know y'all be laughing at me when I be doing that because, they don't have all the pizzazzy, borders and all of that over there. So y'all don't be laughing at me when I be doing this and don't nothing be there. I'm just saying. Anyway, but over on the network, we're doing you guys extended to dive a little bit deeper and to get some more context for this reading for you all. So if you're about that life, most certainly follow me over there, my friends. The link is below. It'll be in the description box with comments, something like that. But and then I want to throw out there, because this is something new that I'm integrating, just because we get so many emails of different questions that people have. But I mean, of course, if you on a network, y'all just gonna put it in the comments below the video over there. But for my people that are on YouTube, if it's with this reading or any of the other soul sessions that we have coming up for March, if you guys have any questions about the reading, like anything you want clarity on, or I know how we talked about boundaries one time with Gemini, and I was saying if someone has questions about that, throw them in the comments. I say the same thing for you guys. I'd be more than happy to make videos on that. So whether it's this reading or another, if it's anything in the video that you have any questions on, put them daddies in the comments, and we will record some videos for you guys, chat about it on Clubhouse, talk about it on the network, whatever the case may be. So just throwing that out there. But anywho, enough of all that. I love your face, okay? And I'll see you guys sooner than later. Hopefully sooner on the network. Get the woke book. Love your face.